Is Chat GPT coming for my job as a tour guide? Welcome to Walk About Edinburgh with David Basson. I am your host, David Basson. Now, I've seen a lot on YouTube about people getting scared that Chat GPT is one day going to take over everything. That's not the way I understood Chat GPT. At least with my experience, it's always been a tool, a very effective tool, but a tool. You need a human behind it to really instruct it and to tweak it. But I want to test out whether Chat GPT can actually write an effective tour of Edinburgh. Now, it must have 5 points. 1, a short introduction to Edinburgh and its history. 2, it must include 5 to 8 sites within the old town of Edinburgh within a 1 mile square radius. 3, it must have a short summary with some humour injected in of each site. 4, it's got to give walking directions from site to site to me. And 5, it's got to have a short outro as well. So let's see how it all goes.
To give ChatGPT the best chance of getting it right, I asked it what was the best way to speak to it, and it said use natural language. So I put together an easy-to-read paragraph, put it into ChatGPT, and I saw a mistake straight away. We start at the mile, we go to St. Giles, we go to a few other places, then we go to the Royal Botanic Gardens, that's not within walking distance. Then it started to network error. I tried it a few times, once I got past a certain amount of words, it would just error up. But I didn't want to give up yet. I thought, what about I cut it into smaller sections and string it together myself? Could that create a tour of Edinburgh? So I would ask us for a summary of each location with a bit of humour injected in, and then I'd ask the directions to the next location. Okay, so far it does look pretty good. I mean, it's got some weird directions in there, but the content I've seen it write so far is pretty good. And the weird thing is, it does keep the past content in mind. It seems joined together, which is impressive. Well, now it's up to me to make this all look good. I'm going to give it the best go I can. Now it's time to hit the mile. To do the tour itself, I did read the script, but I also used an app called Teleprompter. The actual paragraphs that it wrote for each site were pretty good, but the directions were absolutely horrible. In fact, you get very lost using those directions. Now, just so you know, it's given me directions to get all the way to the Parliament. Now, the Parliament is literally there across the road, but according to the directions, it's a 5-minute walk from here to there. Now, what I'm thinking is, maybe I didn't give the Chat AI my starting place. As in, I said go from the palace to the Parliament, but maybe it thinks I'm going to leave the palace somewhere over on the other side. I'm not sure. But here is a supercut of how it all came out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful and historic city of Edinburgh. My name is your name. Edinburgh is a city steeped in history, legend, and folklore. It's a city that's seen the rise and fall of kingdoms, the triumphs and tragedies of wars. As your guide, I can assure you this is not your average museum. No, sir. Let's be honest, it's not all serious stuff in here. Where else can you find a giant T-Rex skeleton, a robot that plays football? Welcome, folks, to Greyfriars Kirkyard, the final resting place of Scotland's most colourful characters. And no, I don't mean the ones that paint their faces blue and scream, freedom! Although, we have a few of them too. If you hear something go bump in the night, it's probably just me. Bit of an awkward ending. And the most impressive church in the city. Sorry, Greyfriars, you had your moment. And we have the famous church cat, Hamish. Which you heard me right, is a cat that lives in the cathedral, and he's something of a celebrity around these parts. So, greetings fellow travellers, and welcome to Edinburgh Castle, the most majestic and historic fortress in all of Scotland. You can see the whole city from up here. It's like a postcard come to life. First up, we have the souvenir shops, or as I like to call them, the Everything Scottish Emporiums. Either way, it'll definitely make you smile or cringe depending on your taste. But perhaps the most fascinating thing about Holyrood House is the stories behind the walls. From the legendary tales of Mary Queen of Scots to the scandalous rumours of royal affairs. The building looks like a giant alien spaceship that landed in the heart of Edinburgh. But this is where the real work gets done. And inside, you'll find some of the brightest minds in Scottish politics debating the important issues of the day. Well, that's a wrap, folks, on this tour of Edinburgh's Old Town. I hope you had as much fun as I did. That Edinburgh is a city steeped in history and tradition, but it's also a city that's constantly evolving and changing. So whether you are a first-time visitor or a seasoned veteran, there's always something new to discover and explore. Thank you all for coming. I'll be honest, that last speech was pretty good.
Now, I'll put a full link to the tour in the description below as soon as I upload it. Well, first of all, can it write a full tour of Edinburgh? It wasn't as simple as that. I couldn't just give it a couple of sentences and it would run with it. I couldn't just go, hey, write me a tour of this city, and it did. I had to direct it the entire time. That being said though, it still did a really good job. I mean, as I mentioned, the directions were horrible, but the summaries it wrote were really good. I'd say they're about 80% accurate. There were some inaccuracies. When I was at St. Giles, it spoke about a cat called Hamish, and I looked it up. Hamish was actually at St. Andrews. So I got that wrong. But what I can see a tour guide doing is using it almost like a Wikipedia, where a tour guide could write, give me a summary of this building, Chat GPT writes it out, and as long as the tour guide fact checks it, it would be very useful. Secondly, will it become the mainstream way of doing tours? I can see them putting Chat GPT into an updated version of Google Glasses. You go to a building and say, what is this? And a virtual presenter could appear in front of you. They could also ask questions too. AI in general, in the future, could provide tours of cities. That being said though, Edinburgh Castle still has audio guides and in-person guides. The audio guides did not take away the in-person guide. That's because a lot of people want that in-person experience. A lot of people want to be part of a group dynamic. Even introverts sometimes want interactions with other people. As for my own opinion of ChatGPT and AI in general, I'd say what really fascinates me is the direction it's going to go in. Will it be the next Google, or will it be the next Pirate Bay? Will they start passing laws against it? And the only way you could use AI legally is using a subscription. Yet everyone has their own little illegal AI system that they've downloaded from some equivalent to the Pirate Bay AI edition. Or will it be like Google? Everyone who has access to the internet has access to an AI, and that AI then sells your preferences to marketing companies. And that's how they make money off it. So suddenly you get these extremely customized ads. By the way, if you have any opinions about what direction ChatGPT is going to go in, or AI in general, put that in the comments below, I'd love to hear it. But I think AI will be a good thing. I wasn't diagnosed as a dyslexic until I was an adult, but my teachers didn't know that. I did learn a lot of how to spell and how to write by playing the old Sierra games like Police Quest and Quest for Glory and Leisure Suit Larry. Those games where I had to read and I had to actually write in prompts, I really enjoyed them as a kid. Even though I could barely read, I could barely write. When I finally got it right, it was so rewarding. I could progress to the next part of the game. And those games had the patience for me. They didn't care if it took me an hour to actually write the reply. Especially with Leisure Suit Larry, I didn't want my parents knowing I was playing it. So I had to really put in the effort, and yeah, there were some big rewards with Leisure Suit Larry. But I could see the AI having the patience that humans don't. And if I had an AI teacher's assistant with me, I think I could have done a lot better at school. So I do think AI is going to be a good thing, especially for people like me who struggle to write and struggle to read. AI would be a huge boon, a huge help. I'm going on a bit of a rant now. But the very first question I asked at the very start of this video is Chat GPT coming for my job as a tour guide? No, at least not yet. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. If you have any suggestions of what I should do in the future, put that in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video.